Welcome! Alright. So, you exit punch right into the pike system above Ballista. Now, none of you actually... None of you have been here before, and it is a fucking gorgeous planet on your screens. It's literally a big blue marble, like, not even like how Earth, like, it is just blue. The islands on it are so small you can't really notice them. It does have ice caps, though, which make it not just pure blue. It's very pretty looking from above. Very majestic, and probably gives Prov a little bit of memory to that time when he first saw New Earth from up above, which would be a nice moment in otherwise continuous
Am I old enough for that, I wonder? How long ago was it sailed?
What?
Dude, you just flew off.
When you left.
When you left.
Yeah.
Ah.
Like the first time you're in an airplane and you realize like city models.
yeah.
When I
When
got
you
my
left.
face against the window, still
Yeah.
my family's blood, crying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm sure that's a good memory.
That's why I said it's a good moment and otherwise a horror. You fucking pay attention, mate. I know we got Scott here, but you don't have to start not listening too.
Did you see my tweet about that?
Yes!
What?
I did!
What is
Scott tweeted that, like, if someone wasn't paying attention during one of his games back in the day, he'd get so mad. And I luckily, I was on the toilet, otherwise I would have retweeted and had quite the discussion, sir.
No. Maybe you missed the point.
I know the point you said was that you don't do it on stream, but just
No, you missed the point. It was a semi-jokey point. So like he was more or less like I assume he, I don't know. I as a DM am angry when my players aren't paying attention. How do you handle this annoying scenario? And my response was, I become like an uproarious dick about the fact that that I'm boring. You know what I mean? And then, I was like, but I don't make a scene because I don't want to draw attention to my flaws as a DM. So it was like a
yes, I like that.
If I might, Ollie, mate, you got to listen.
Good one.
or read better.
That was the subtext. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Come on now. It's 2018. Reading is listening. So, you're above the planet. You're starting to head in. Henrique is that's a weird shape going on. It's not that clear on stream because it's all really dark, but I don't like it.
It's when he zipped up, it was too much.
No, don't go.
I'm right here. I can hear you. I was increasing the lighting if it's too dark.
I'm trying to make a joke out of the words penguin and Derek, and it just isn't working.
What the fuck?
I was trying to light so you can see better. What is going on?
It involves
it just falls on me that I am so boring as a DM. This happens.
I never left. I had thing against my ear, and I went over.
You are shenaniganing right now, and if we were in an IRL table, I would throw something at you. Small.
No, I'm
Oh
cold.
my god.
I'm cold right now.
I'm sorry, but like just when I thought
I can't look at you. I can't look away.
Just when I thought I was recovering, Ian just threw in some random thing about Deoric and Penguin, and it was just smacking me when I'm down.
It's
Dear.
I know why no one watches Wednesdays.
It's a beautiful shit show.
I thought it was Neil's fault.
We need Dean again. That's what we need.
Oh,
I need some Dean to channel my love into.
I need Dean so you hear a proper English accent.
Okay, fine. So, as you're going down to Blister, Henrique does all the proper channels. You're a pike ship from Pike. He can get you clearance to go into orbit. Now, when you're actually going further to the where you need to go on the planet, I mean, you don't even know where you need to go. So that's where further problems are gonna...
I don't think the dog.
That doesn't show up on stream is the thing. You just look really weird on stream. Sometimes I see a tail, but the question is, Captain, what are you planning on doing? I was just saying that you were already getting clearance and going into atmosphere because no matter what, you're going into atmosphere, really.
Yeah. No problem. We got to go land based off of the leads that we have. You know what I mean?
Try and find some way to talk to Jace Constructing.
Exactly. So I imagine, like, do they have a headquarters here on Ballista?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not HQ, sorry, but like, you know what I mean.
And interestingly enough, that would not involve landing. So, the way that this society works, most ships are not designed to go in atmosphere. You just have 2 ships that do just because of the type of work you do, but most spaceships aren't designed to go in atmosphere because it's kind of like a lot more effort for not a lot of payoff most of the time. You don't need it. So most ships, they go to these little stations in orbit of the planet that have either shuttles or a space elevator that go down to the planet, usually to a little area down below. Like on Pike, it would be above all the main cities. In this one, they're a little bit more spread out because they don't want to ruin the beautiful views. But you would go to one of those little sort of midway stations where Jace Construction has its main base because they are a construction company. They have actual, like, crappy sort of, like, you can't even really call it a frigate, but like fairly heavy duty construction vessels that have to bring all the parts places. So you absolutely would head off there, and it takes moments. It's like less than an hour for you to get there. And again, clearance is absolutely easy for you to dock on this little midway station. It's where there are other vessels and people are going and doing and going. That unlike a lot of them on this planet, which would be for, you know, maybe family who are visiting or something, or general travel, this is a lot more for business, and it's the sort of places where cargo vessels are going off, and then the shuttles that are going down to the planet are like these big freaking cargo vessels that trundle off down into the atmosphere. And you dock up perfectly fine. You are muted because you were playing with a dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's being. I need playing time. It's been many hours.
Is she being a bitch?
Yeah. No, she's wonderful. Okay, she's wonderful. So she's is the entire dock, like, I understand everything that you just described about, like, why in the atmosphere, but does this all belong to them, or are they just?
No, they just have like they would own a large amount of the like docking space, but they would essentially have like a building, but it'd be similar to the one you're at Tongle, where it's like, you know, buildings that are stretching out, or, you know, the station. But, you know, it's you've been on one of these before. It's like high orbit, low orbit.
Yeah.
It's sort of in between.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I know what I'm trying to describe, but not the words to describe it.
We wouldn't want to dock on their docking space.
No, you wouldn't be able to.
Oh, okay, cool. We want to make sure it's more of neutral.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
So we dock there, we pull up, you know what I mean? Just the core people really talking now. Other people can listen, it doesn't really matter. So we've arrived at the platform where they have their operations, their base here. This is the Jace Construction. Now, we need to try to get information from their servers about what's going on. But none of us here are exactly particularly good at forcing our way into a computer system to find what we need, are we?
If only you didn't let your hubby get
Prov's done it before, but someone just gave him a USB that did the thing that you needed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, yeah, I left the USB too.
Forcing our way in, maybe with an axe, less so with a actual computer.
Yeah. So then that leads us another way to try to infiltrate their database for potential clients. This is not something I'm particularly good at.
I don't know. Could if there's someone from their staff, if we slip them a few credits, maybe they could pull up. If we give them an idea of what to look for.
We did that on the other station that we stopped on. It's that's definitely an option. Honestly, I find that better than trying to be someone who knows anything about construction. That's probably the better option. Very well. What about, even if not the staff, is there anywhere in a place like this where we could find that kind of information in general? I look at the two people I'm asking. I go, never mind. Let's see if we can find the staff member.
I mean, someone from their company's going to have built the thing, or is going to move the thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
with
would.
engineers and
It'd take a while, but if we could ask the actual workers, I figure someone. Even if this is like a secret thing. I guess the higher people ain't gonna be moving this stuff themselves, ain't they?
it depends on what you mean by hire. Engineers and whatnot, certainly, but the blue collar workers, they'll is that what you're thinking? Going down to the people that just pulls the wrench?
Yeah, that would have been my idea. I mean, I don't really know how this stuff works too much, but
Turn to Prof.
I mean, I remember most every tractor I worked on back in the day.
That wasn't very helpful.
I think he means like
The
If
blue
we ask-
collars are a good shout.
yeah. If we ask them, they'll probably remember. They don't forget. That's what he's saying.
But what kind of people are they? Are they willing to give us the information just because we asked, or are we going to have to really grease some palms here? Are we
They're
gonna
going
be
to get
spending money?
paid a hell of a lot less than the people higher up. So a smaller bribe will do more, I would have thought.
Very well. I honestly don't think I can take point on this one. This is a little bit outside of my wheelhouse. Speaking to the average person as you find on a dock is more of literally what both of you are better at than myself.
You also look ridiculous at the moment.
Jason used to tell me that if I didn't put my hair in curlers at least once a week, that I wouldn't have the wave that he likes to run his fingers through.
Very well, Captain. I think perhaps if you were to come along with the grease, and perhaps Rain could, some of these blue collar workers might appreciate being asked a few questions by a nice young lady.
Is that still a thing? I say, like turning to her.
I mean, they might prefer a nice young man, but neither of us are as young as Rain, so...
No, I mean catcalling as you walk by a workstation. Is that a thing?
It's happened. It happened on occasion when I was playing the guitar. You know.
I mean,
Yeah, have you never walked past a space station in space in your spacesuit, just walking by, and someone whistles at you in space?
No.
Get BM'd, kid.
All right, Eric.
So honestly, I'm definitely gonna take. Obviously, I'm coming along for the task. Like,
You're gonna put the Chuckle Brothers here in charge. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm definitely following behind and doing the whole silent friend role.
Yeah.
And now Neil has dropped his speciality on me, and I have to come up with how to lead a conversation.
But Rain is very approachable. and good
Rain
talking.
is. I'm useless at this.
You just need to get dunked on the deep end, like you get off the ship. Unless
It's
you
fine.
wanted to.
It's fine, Ian. I believe in me that believes in you.
Channel my inner Neil.
If you want, you can just have Neil within.
The new expansion
That-
to XCOM. It's real scary. I need to Photoshop that now, and I'm mad about it.
There's a few gooey scenes, but overall, it's a good play.
Ooh, I don't like that.
New toys, new noise.
All right, shut up. Look at me. I'm the DM here. All right. So
You're the dungeon master. Sorry, Ollie.
it's funny, even funny because your
Give me a
dog's
moment
there.
to be able to breathe again.
Yeah, we know. I need to give Ian some time, which means we need to stop stacking bad jokes. But that's literally my only. Is the only reason I get any place streaming is
Bad
my jokes per minute are pretty good. The jokes aren't good.
JPM.
Yeah,
Time to add to my JPM.
Yeah. So, you get off the ship. It's one of those things. It is this sort of place that actually Rain and Prov do feel at home in the current place in their life. It's not an unpleasant place. It's a little bit, there's a little bit of finery. Every station is different, even if they are mostly prefabricated to some degree. But when you start getting into the areas that are clearly owned by Jace Constructing, it takes a sort of different route. Probably that this station has been expanded on by them into areas that are locked off. Not with like big blast doors or anything. But literally hallways have, like a security force member and like a little ticket machine, like a scanning machine. So just so you can only go in there if you actually belong to the company. And you can actually see for like down there. You can hear. You can't see because it's quite a lot of large distances are involved in a station like this because it's space. They can make things big. You can hear, the sounds of welding and various machines being like reloaded and refueled and things. Down below, like to one side is the areas where their offices are, and you can actually just straight up walk up to the Jace Construction offices if you wanted. But where you're kind of at right now is the route to the area of dock they own, where they have like all their machinery, all the blue collar workers that you're looking for. But you can't get in there without an ID.
I was gonna say, do we need clearance or certain outfits?
If you were to walk up, they would literally the guy there who is clearly security force, but clearly like Jace Constructing security force, like logo on his chest sort of thing, but like employees only.
So what's this area like? Is this is a like a halfway port thing, and there's no like residential or commercial areas or anything.
There would be enough residential because this is a big enough company that there might be a little bit of residential, and then on top of that, there's like motels.
So, is there anyone wandering around outside of Jace?
Yeah, it's one of those things that if you imagine as a street, it's not an unpopulated street. This station is designed for all that cargo and construction work and stuff. So it actually has a good deal of people who need to like, all right, they've just been flying a shuttle for like 12 hours. They need to relax, So it's not uncommon to a lot of the other stations you've been on. Probably on this street, there's little food stalls and things that fill the place with it's a more pleasant smell than the prefab meals you've been having. Like rehydrated beef stew. So
are there anyone on this street like clearly Jace Construction workers who are relaxing and just chilling out?
Yeah. People who have gone from their construction areas to relax. Absolutely. There's like as you're surveying the scene, there is like an open air bar kind of area where there's a couple of them who are still wearing their uniforms. However many aren't wearing uniforms. How would you know? But
okay, let's think about how I'm going to go about this.
So hold on while you're thinking for a second. Inside the area where they've clearly gotten access, right? Do we see anybody walking around that aren't in Chase Construction uniforms or like grease suits?
In their construction area, you really can't see inside. It's kind of a curved tunnel that goes in. The offices, of course, there would be. They've got some windows so you can look in, but they're the offices. Logic would dictate, though, Davis, considering you know a thing or two about this sort of thing, that there are, of course, ways through the offices, and if you wanted to sneak in, you could easily sneak in, but considering you're going to ask people things...
I mean, like the blue-collar jumpers, if we were to, like, show up, there was a guard that didn't recognize us, we had passes because we knocked somebody out but didn't have jumpers on, would that be okay? Or, like, without the jumpers, it's not sellable at all? Yeah, because we don't see anybody.
You don't know, because you aren't there.
Go ahead, Ian.
Okay, so Rain would instruct of you. Go stay well away. Just keep an eye on me from a distance, but so that you can't be seen easily. I think I got an idea of how to do this. And once you two have moved away, she's going to go up to a group of Jace workers on break who are probably like eating something, and just sort of just go up, lean over a little bit, and say, "Hey, Fez, sorry to interrupt your food. You see, I'm just wondering which of the stores around here sells the best stuff. I'm getting a bit hungry. You see, my dad, he's gone off to talk to someone in the company or something. He brought me a lamb for the day, and I'm just I'm getting a bit hungry, you know."
Oh, you made me a talk charisma check.
Oh,
That was
I
innocent
think she said dad.
There is a reason why you are doing this check.
Okay.
He's like, ooh, girl with daddy issues.
Oh, that -1.
You're on your own right now. You told them to piss off, right?
Yeah, we're just
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I
pubbing
told
from a
them.
distance.
They're down the street. They can see you.
Yeah.
If they were here, they would realize that you being here as like the child of someone else in this weird outfit is believable, maybe, but it's still just super strange. It's not that they don't necessarily believe you, but they're definitely not relaxed with you or anything.
Well,
And they
that's
kind of
fine.
like,
All I'm asking them for is where to get a meal.
and they will point out and be like, sort of like, if you want, meat, you can go there. If you want a drink, you go there. You're really better off buying all the commissary you can that comes in. We've got good prices here because it's before it's gone to the shops. Better off cooking yourself, but who has time for that these days?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too good at cooking. Thanks. I'll just go grab something. And Rain goes off, gets something from a nearby stall, and she wanders back over, like starting to eat, and says, "Sorry to trouble you. You don't mind if I sip with you? I'm a bit boring being on my own, eating on my own, you know? Figured we could have a talk." Dunno.
I don't have a lot of things to talk about.
Well, I mean, how's work? Jace, my dad doesn't tell me much about it. He's pretty tight-lipped, I'm curious.
Work's work. You gotta do what you gotta do.
Any interesting stuff you do? Like, I know it's prefabs. They do some odd stuff, don't they? Like things in space and things under the ocean on here.
I wouldn't really call that odd. Call that the norm.
Norm? So you do it a lot then?
People live in space. They need habitat.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, space is pretty normal, but like, I've heard an odd thing about under the ocean. That's pretty weird, isn't it?
Would be, yeah.
You ever worked on anything like that, setting that up for people?
I've maintenanced the vehicles mostly.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah. I guess that's a bit of a different area, ain't it? To the actual building of the stuff underground is for vehicles that go down there.
There's not a lot of actual physical building. A lot of controlling submersibles.
Oh?
It's a sort of the sizes of these things involved. You kind of like move slightly, like when you're explaining something to someone who knows nothing about that thing, and there's some condescendingness to it, and it's like the sizes involved here. You can't just use a bloody hammer. You've got to use, and he kind of like actually motions. You actually see like on a little motorized cart, they're moving like a sort of like robotic arm display sort of thing, and they're moving it into the cargo area. Actual physical human strength is pointless in the vacuum of space. Most of it is done via drones or mechanical harnesses.
Oh no, I guess that makes sense. I mean, I know I sure as hell couldn't lift up anything near that. I mean, you look like a big strong fellow, but figure it'd be tough for you as well. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious about all this stuff. You know, it's so. Have you ever you work with these sort of all these transplanting, putting it together sort of thing? Have you worked with any of the really big like cranes and such like, or is it all the small stuff? I couldn't think of a better word than cranes. A substitute cranes for an equivalent word.
Cranes is more or less fine.
Yeah.
He just kind of shrugs and like,
Let me space it up for you. Mag crane.
yeah.
Or a grav lift.
Yeah, but the
That's
gravel
a bit
lifts
advanced.
do
Gee.
not exist.
Grav lift.
I'm trying to bloody work this conversation in a direction that will work, and it's not working.
Mag lift.
He just kind of does like a big shrug and like, look, yeah, I just get given a ping on my data pad to go somewhere and fix something. And I do it, and I get my creds, and then I spend my creds on cheap beer and ramen. That's what my life is. And that's
Did you
all
say
our
ramen
lives
or-
are. That's what we do.
Did you say ramen or woman?
Ramen, but honestly, probably both.
Okay.
Yeah, I am not going to continue trying to push this with roleplay because I'm clearly not succeeding here, and I can't work out how to get this conversation going in the direction I want it. So Rain is not going to do anything suspicious and like immediately drop the conversation. She's going to keep talking to the guy. For a
Yeah,
little
like
bit,
have some more polite conversation.
like finish her meal and then just be like, "Oh, well, thanks for the chat. Alleviate some boredom, you know. I hope you get an interesting job next time."
Have a good one.
And she'll wander off back to the other two and just be like, well, that could have gone better. I mean, it could have gone worse, but
Well, what did you find out?
most of the workers around here just tend to go to places, fix stuff, and move on. They don't take, or at least he didn't take a lot of note of stuff. Also, they don't tend to do it themselves. They tend to use submersibles and such like, which, I mean, that could be a way in if we could hijack one of those submersibles. So I suppose it wasn't useless, but it wasn't really what we needed, you know?
I mean, Rain, we're talking about construction under the sea. Obviously, they're going to be using submersibles.
Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, it's just, I got the feeling that guy was maybe not on guard, but maybe he just didn't really trust me, you know?
Well, also, some people just come to go to work, and they don't really pay attention to much more.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I might just have gotten unlucky, but the other thing is that I can't really, I might be able to talk to them, like you said, as a young woman, but I can't talk to them on the same level, you know? It was basically him explaining pretty basic stuff. I figure, Prof, you probably know more about the stuff they do than I do. Maybe you'd be able to talk to them on a similar level.
I'll have a look, see whether I can find a mark.
If you need me, by all means, give me a shout, but I mean, that was a bit of a bust.
Well, can't go worse than that.
Goddamn charisma roll.
Yeah, Prob's gonna have a look. Who would he have a look for? Let's see. I think someone who looks a bit dissatisfied with their job, but not like in the, so again, blue collar workers, but they're not dissatisfied in the like, I'm great. This is draining everything I've got. This is I'm meant for more than this. I'm a little bit rebellious. You know, you can see it in like, I don't know, my uniform's not as neat as the others. My hair's a bit different. Maybe I got some dyes, piercings, tats going on.
You can
Give
give
me
me
a punk.
You can give me a notice charisma check.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I used all my good luck earlier.
It's
I think it's a type of a success. So basically, you start wandering around this little station, and again, you look like you belong. You aren't bothered when you're going around. Eventually, you actually find one of the people. They actually are leaving the more officey buildings of Jace constructing, but they still have the uniform. Clearly inside the office is not the sort of jumpsuits that the constructing people are using. He is wearing that. The construction sort of jumpsuits and things. And he's sort of going out and is lighting a cigarette. And it looks like the kind of person you're looking for. I mean, he just looks frustrated. And immediately goes and like finds a little corner and just like...
As he's walking along, prior to him sitting down or finding a corner, as he's walking along, I'll fall into step next to him and probably like chewed out by the big guys again.
My manager does not fucking understand. Alright.
They don't know what it's like working out there with everyone else, actually having to get things done
all day, every day. I mean, when we're out there, all it takes is one valve to blow, and all my guts are spewed out of my body like squeezing a bottle of ketchup. You know, this is insane.
I had a sub, and it had a crack for 1 whole month before they decided to fix it. 1 whole month that my life was in danger. That's why I quit the business.
You don't work here anymore?
Nah, I just thought I'd pop back, see how things were, you know.
You freelance?
Yeah, well, I managed to get myself a good deal working on New Earth. Turns out they need a little bit of terraforming under the sea there, and they don't have so many of the natural beaches. A little bit different to what we used to do here, but work's work.
But where it's wetter, it is better under the sea.
He's not wrong.
He actually is kind of believes you. Like, clearly what you're saying is regular person doesn't know anything about New Earth.
Grade A bullshit.
It's exactly that bullshit succeeds when there's a little bit of like believableness in it. He's like, yeah, I mean the kind of stuff we do here, it's not terrifying, but I've been involved in some drop hab situations. Is that the kind of did you work on the job with the we had to he just kind of like does like this motion like over and over.
The one we're not supposed to talk about?
I mean, it's not like it's a secret or anything, but you know what.
Well, no, but the pay was extra good on that one.
I didn't work on that one. I didn't, but you know, if I was kind of not part of the team then, you know, but
I didn't actually get to go out to it. I was still training at the time, but I remember it. Well, seeing some of it anyway. I was kind of hoping to get I helped work on it, so I thought it would be good for me. It's quite an ambitious.
You need to do like something like that again?
Well, I was hoping to add it to my portfolio. It's quite an ambitious project, and it paid off, you know.
I mean, I kind of like steps in closer. I mean, you're in like an alleyway, you know, typical sci-fi. Like, it's the water recycling system doesn't properly work and it's dripping. It's a sci-fi alleyway in a freaking mining station or cargo station. Yeah, and he's like, you know, there's apparently some real rough folks on the other side of that job. I don't know if you want to publicize that you did anything on that. I mean, it could be real rough.
How rough are we talking?
I mean, do you remember Gregor? You work with him?
The guy with the...
Well, he ain't anymore.
Oh.
They took it off.
My God. They didn't.
I mean, that's what I heard. But he doesn't come by anymore. And I saw on my and he kind of like fills up like a data pad that is just old shit, like, and also like welded and like fixed really crappily. It's like, his wife changed his relationship status to widowed. So.
Oh shit! Poor
But he's still
Gregor. He was okay, I suppose, actually.
So you don't want to mess with like these folks. You shouldn't even really be talking about it,
Right now, you've been straight with me. I'll be straight with you. What if I told you there was a lot of money if we got those to the right people quietly?
I mean, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if there was a situation where I could work with your business far off, and helping out on something like this would be so far out of the way that if there was any sort of trouble, it would never. You come back to someone who was hypothetically very similar to me, then that would be a very good situation. Hypothetically.
I mean, hypothetically, there's honor among a group of people like us. There's no sense in throwing another man like yourself under the mag crane, as it were.
Yeah, I get you. There's good money out there.
I'm talking relocation to a different job and 100,000 credits, straight up, untraceable.
He actually like blurts out like 100,000 credits.
but only if we do it right.
Do it right.
And once we've done it.
I need you to give me a talk or lead charisma.
Am I nearby enough to hear his blurt out?
You would hear the blurt out, but nothing else.
I'm gonna give a sharp look, not to him, but to Neil. Like an obviously sharp look.
Would I notice?
Yeah.
If you would probably have positioned yourself in a way where you can, but give yourself a +2 on this because you built it up. Convincing argument. Ooh. He kind of nods and is like, in a hypothetical situation, there, stuff like that isn't going to be kept on the everyday records, but on the boss's computer. Because I heard that job they went straight to Jace Jr. Straight all the way up to him. So on his computer, it was probably the whole, everything. And I'll tell you something else. That guy, he's not got the best noggin, right? I think all the brains were in Jace Senior. God rest his soul. Earth rest his soul. So he keeps all his passwords in his pocket because he can't remember.
Oh.
And and you wonder where people get the rep for the people at the bottom being stupid.
It's all the way. I'm sure if Jay Senior didn't make that bet, we would have a much better business now, not ruled by his son.
Now, if I was to hypothetically get a hold of these, I don't have my company ID anymore. If you were to, say, lose yours on a cigarette break, perhaps you could give me your fake details so that we could wire you across a payment. Let's say 20,000 once the job's done.
Give me that same check again.
+2?
Yeah. He's kind of like... he's clearly conflicted. He's kind of in on the idea of helping you, but at the same time, maybe doesn't want to burn bridges completely. I was like, "You get this back to me." Kind of like holds out his ID, which is kind of like connected by like one of those like coil things. He kind of like disconnects from his belt.
It's not mag tethered?
You think they can fucking afford that shit?
TL5 society, baby.
Magnets are expensive.
Oh dear. Yeah, I'll. Is it like a trash can or something equivalent
Yeah.
in the alley?
We call her Rain.
I'll drop it in.
Aww.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's not nice.
I'll drop
Don't
it.
eat just.
Don't eat Scott. Wise words to live by. Don't eat Scott.
I never want to.
But I'll drop it in the alley in there when I'm done.
And you know, if you get, you know, if Jace Jr. sees you or anything, I don't know you. I don't even take a break. And he like straight up like just walks off to the bar on the other side of the street. And appears to order something quite strong.
I'm gonna tuck that into my jacket and walk back, a little bit strutting.
Peacocking a little.
Yeah. Well, I got an ID, and I got an idea.
How much of the plan did you give away?
Well, I said we wanted the plans for a job that I worked on to get to the right people for a lot of money.
How much money are we promising him?
20,000 credits when the job's done.
Any addendums?
Well, pretty much he's not liable in any way should this go wrong.
That's a fun little lie. He's foolish enough to believe. And what's the name of the company that you work for?
You think I made that up? I didn't tell him. Shit.
Should be better training at these low-level jobs. This is how big companies and this is how big companies and fine war machines fall apart. The lazy ones at the bottom.
Well, you say that, but it just so happens that it's the stupid ones at the top who are going to be helping us out the most. Jace Jr., the CEO, happens to be in this here building, and he happens to keep all the passwords to his servers in a physical data pad in his pocket.
That makes one wonder who you meant by the stupid one. Jace Jr., the person that left him the responsibilities of this business.
Well, I meant Jace Jr., but, you know, don't pop my bubble here.
Don't worry, I have no intention of popping anything of yours.
He like looks at Rain like, is he? Is he?
Rain just sort of like looks away.
So now I can get in. How far I can get? That's another question.
Gotta
But
be
once I'm in, I
reliant
might
on
be
your...
up to. Once I'm in, I might be up to hard.
Do we really want only one person in there? I look about at all the other people as kind of like walking about or sitting down or whatever.
Now, the counterpoint is, whereas the way into the construction zone is manned, if you were going around the office spaces, they would
It's not
have
manned?
keypads that wouldn't necessarily guarantee to be manned, because they would have doors, so it doesn't matter, you know.
Well, so we can, darling in the Franks it. Ian gets it. We hold hands, hold the key card in one hand, and dive through.
yes, no, I get it.
Well, in that case, we may as well try and get in the building.
Yeah,
What
I
if
mean,
these-
how are we gonna get the other person in?
The office has a front area where anyone can go in. It is a
what if
business.
What if these stickers, where the keypads that you use as access to get through? What if they have cameras?
Who cares? The
So you
trick
think-
is to be in and out before they notice.
You think much like an old bank, one swipe and we all walk in the door.
I'm not really familiar with an old bank.
I suppose you're not familiar with. My apologies.
It's just like awkward silence. So they're like,
There's a hiss of heat, steam, which is the friggin'
His
maintenance
planet
area.
didn't have financing. They didn't have bank accounts.
They are
They're just
space
bored.
Amish. They just
Yeah.
built barns and sold wood.
Yep.
not necessarily in that order.
Not in that order.
Look at this boy gorging himself on those sugary drinks.
No, it's no sugar, Sprite.
That means you have aspartame, which is worse, or sucrose,
Yeah,
which is.
But
equally-
it's tastier.
Oh,
Is it?
tastes way
Oh,
worse.
yeah,
The
that
af-
is.
the
Nah.
after- The aftertaste is like grandma farted in your mouth.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby.
Anyways, so I, it's one of those things where I'm like, clearly not satisfied with the full resolution. With you guys, we'll say
Well, maybe you should got off your ass and done something then.
we'll
Stop.
describe them as failures. I'm not satisfied with the resolution.
Prov succeeded,
said-
but he's not happy with Prov's plan of just, I'm just gonna go in.
If
I
you're
say-
walking like you're meant to be there, ace.
I
Ace.
we can't have only one in there. That's without a doubt that would be foolish. I don't know if we should have everybody in there.
That's
I'm
what you're
wondering
wrong.
if we-
There can only be one. That's all right.
I'm wondering if it'd be wiser for me to stay and I gesture towards the sitting area here in case you need help from the outside because things go awry inside.
What are you
I
gonna
expect-
do?
Far more than I would do in there. If you're looking for somebody who's light-footed, that's not me. If you're looking for somebody who's quick and graceful, that's not me.
It's not
looking for
rain
somebody
either. No offense, rain.
No, none taken. I mean, I don't exactly look the part, to be honest.
No, well, I mean, I suppose you are fairly agile, more so than him, but
I'll also point out, if Rain just wasn't wearing a trench coat and a cowboy hat, she would blend it. She would look like
Yeah.
just a random person. It's
Exactly.
because she's wearing a trench coat and a cowboy hat that she stands out a whole bunch.
So, because that's actually like where I was thinking. I was like, let me put this as simply as possible. I gesture towards the gun strapped to my back and pat the one at my side and say, without these, I'm going to be useless at this task. And then I knock on the armor that I'm wearing and saying, and without this, I'm liable. Then I go over and I'm actually going to take Rain's hat off of her head and then like take her jacket off, but not like rip it off of her. I'm not rude. Like on the shoulder, and then the other one, I imagine Rain's kind of like going along with it, like, why are you taking my stuff? And then I say, fits the part. I drape her hat and jacket over a chair on a table there, or whatever.
maybe you should wait in the lobby in the office building. If any of the if they have a reception, if any of them ask, you know, what you're doing there, just sit down, just wait, and if any of them ask, just say, I'm being seen too.
You know what's funny? You say that, and I'm like, that is genuinely brilliant.
It's really good.
I bet. I honestly think that could work for a considerable amount of time. Like I won't compliment you, but I'm taken aback by how good of a plan it is.
Yeah, you can tell when Davis is like genuinely surprised by when Prov or Rain does something actually good.
I'm gonna let them go in first, and I'll follow into that lobby area like 3 minutes later.
Mm-hmm. So when you get it,
My trench coat and cat and hat. Don't leave those on a bench.
Nope, I'm gonna leave. Carry one in my hands and the other one on my arm.
Good.
when you
With my armor.
when you go to Jace Constructing's little front door, they have like a little bit of a space outside, but not much because it's a small station. It opens up into a lobby. It has a little seating area and a desk. And behind the desk is clearly an elevator. But beside the desk is clearly an elevator, and then there's hallways and things that both have key card doors. Get further into, and also the elevator has a key card thing as well. When you go in, there's literally like a girl at the desk who's like, "Well, hello. Do you? What can I help you with today? Are you here on about a currently continuing account?"
We're all right, actually. Thank you. I'm just showing this newbie here around. So as I was saying, you will be spending most of your time at the start of your training.
Please put on your uniform before you continue the tour. Or, please, if you're going to be doing such important task, please put on your uniform.
How about I take off your uniform and see how it looks on my floor?
It was in the memo last quarter that employees must be wearing a uniform at all time. Or when they're on the
I know.
premises.
I tore it up, you see, in my last job, getting up my sub, and I didn't want the new starter to see me looking scruffy. Look, point me to get a new uniform, one that fits, mind you. I lost a bit of weight since back in the day, and I will put it on, no problem. I don't want to get you in any trouble.
She kind of like taps on the computer a bit. It's like, you'll be able to get one at laundry room C. Please make your way there at some point.
Thank you.
I was waiting on and the congratulations on the weight loss.
I'm looking around in like pretending to be looking around in wonder. Do I see any signs like I obviously not conveniently to laundry room C, but do I see any signs that would lead in a direction?
I've just named for a second there. You can give me a notice wisdom check, I suppose.
Prob's just gonna ask. It's been a while since I picked up a new uniform. Which way is laundry room C?
That'll be in the below the C wing on the lowest level.
Thank you.
It's actually when you're looking around it, like at the same time you notice like behind their desk is a map of the facility, and it's goes all the way up to E, whereas D and E are the entire like cargo space.
Is there like just one map, or are there like copies?
It's like it's actually like a laminated printout map under the little bit of their desk, so that if they are asked.
Can I like reach for it and be like, perfect. I just showed the newbie before we go. So
she is clearly not amused, but she just kind of like.
So this is where we are now, and as I said, if you have any issues, the lovely ladies here will always be happy to help. Severely underpaid for what they do. And as I'm doing this, I'm gonna be like, right, this is C wing. I know I need to go down to the bottom level. Let's make my way there now.
Yeah.
Why don't you both give me again another notice check? This can also be intelligence, if you so please. If you are better, but I think you're both wiser.
Let's go with notice intelligence.
Oh baby.
Let's not.
Any pluses as I've looked at a map and asked a person?
No, because this isn't for you going somewhere.
Oh, okay.
This is kind of how much you take in on that map real quick. Okay, Rain, while you're looking around, you actually notice that it is area B appears to be where there are things labeled as offices that are big.
Okay.
When they take that map back.
Yeah, obviously.
And you can start heading out. You actually don't even need the ID, because while you're going up, she just presses a button and the door just. And you can start heading down to Area C.
I will indeed. Go pick up my my uniform first thing.
When you go down there, because of it being a sort of station it is, most things are all on this main level. But then there's all the stairs down, there's a little laundry room, where there's, again, washing machines. Prob's fascination. And
Bizarre.
it's when it's a little bit after you walk in. There's like a tsh, and one of the devices, like a neatly folded uniform, comes out and it goes like, "Please enjoy your uniform."
I get changed, but tuck in my my new Earth necklace into it.
Oh.
Ain't leaving that bad boy behind. And if I can fold and carry my clothes
Yeah,
in my backpack, then I would.
that's entirely fine. So, what do you want to do? You're kind of like deep in this facility, and when you're walking around, there would be other people there, but not so. Like again, you're walking like you belong right now. You haven't had to do anything.
We talked about last night on stream. We talked about that last night. The fallacy of walk like you belong, and people leave you alone, and people are giving examples of how that wasn't true, and I was like, but it is true.
It's literally true. It's part of human psychology.
I do it at work.
Yeah, I've done it my whole life.
I do the equivalent of talking like I know.
Oh yeah. You got to. Yeah.
That's called the charisma score above 12.
That's what I do at work. It's just like it's just not, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about, but if I sound convincing,
Exactly. Right then. So we need to get to the CEO's office.
Mm-hmm. When Ray looked at the map, big offices were in B, and B was also the tallest section. When you actually approach this place from outside, there were a couple of, like a little spiry sections that kind of come out. You imagine section B of Jace Constructing was probably one of them that go like above everything else.
I mean, there's probably there's probably windows up there. So let's just go in the lift. Just go straight up to this top.
So when you go over to the B area and you're like, the lifts need a key card, and you press your key card to the B area lift, it flashes red.
Yep.
Ah, shit. They didn't update my... Well, I guess we'll have to walk. There's got to be stairs, right? Fire regs, come on.
Yeah.
I could get in the stairwell. They can't not give me access to the stairwell because fire regs.
It's true. You start going up the stairwell. It's a tight, uncomfortable little stairwell that goes up, a couple of floors. This isn't an incredibly tall building because space is at a level of premium in this kind of place. And you just keep going up, I imagine.
So, as I was saying, in the event of a fire, you shouldn't use the lifts, so this is the exit that you would take.
It's funny you're doing that, because I actually do want you to give me a sneak charisma right now. I'll give you a plus run because you are leading Rain around, because there are other people, around this area. There are people who are working the offices. Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah!
And you just keep walking up as far as you like. It's like,
Neil, keep it going.
That's
Keep
a
it
floor.
going.
You can see through these little doors that all have key card things. Most of them go out into there's an office and things. When you get to the top, it actually doesn't have a key card door. It goes out into a bit of like a lobby, with some comfy chairs, and then a big key card door. And you're kind of walking up. And you just keep walking, keep explaining as you're walking up to this big door. And while you're going, you maybe even be like, and one of the other people who's sitting is like, oh, and lets you in. And you just keep, you don't even stop talking, maybe and
just nod.
And walk in to what seems to be, not necessarily Jace Jr.'s office, but the office space of the heads of the company. It kind of opens up, there's sort of glass walls with each one with a keycard door, and you can see 3 offices on either side. The one directly in front of you is clearly Jace Jr.'s. It is big, it is fancy. There's actually no one else in here at all. What do you want to do? And the door behind you closes behind you, of course.
Well, this has gone well.
And locks behind you.
Rain, I hate to ask this, but could you unbutton the top of your shirt a little?
What?
Rain sort of like looks a little bit confused.
I'll point out that Rain can't because she's wearing an armored undersuit that is
Oh,
not
is she?
buttoned.
She's wearing it. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but
fine.
if
That's,
that's
fine.
under
That's
the-
good.
Oh,
No, you can unbutton your coat.
yeah.
But there's armor under it.
Yeah, there's armor under it, but I will do that. Yeah, I'll unbutton it. It's just like with the undersuit, I don't know what use it's gonna be.
So I've drawn Rain. It like goes up to like the neck.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know what use will be either, but the only way I can see about getting in there is just knocking and hoping he's in there.
You can see it's glass. There's no one in there.
Oh, is yeah?
Is
so
there
I
are
can
glass
see-
walls?
Oh, okay.
It's all. This whole place is empty. Each 3 offices.
Okay, and just to check, the door we came through is that glass as well or not?
That's like a big fancy head honcho
But there's
office door.
windows. There's windows.
And also, yeah, that's a valid point. Not only is there glass doors, there's also windows to the outside of the station in each of these offices too, like a big, long, flat window.
So just to
which is
confirm,
brilliant
there
for you.
is no one around, no one to see us.
No one can see you as far as
Okay.
you can
What
tell.
about security camera?
You can give me a notice wisdom check.
Roll me well.
There
It's
is
good
a
enough,
security
roll, Daddy.
camera. There is one security camera that you can see at least. That is kind of in the corner of this room near the door you've just gone through.
Prav, I can blink through glass I bet as long as I can see where I'm going. Just, I'd rather not do it when I can be seen, you know?
Right. Well, I guess we better deal with that camera then.
Yeah.
This is a high ceiling. This is like a 12-foot high ceiling. You can't just like...
12-foot high?
This is the fancy head
What's
honcho
that?
CEO
What's that?
office.
What's that in real money? 12 feet.
Well, if 6 foot is what?
It's essentially 2 stories.
2.6 meters.
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, it's essentially a 2-story room.
Okay, so
It's got to be big and impressive when you bring your important
yeah.
contracts here.
I mean, I could stand on your shoulders. I'm not very tall, but maybe you'd reach it.
ah, shit. I guess we pull a chair over, and then I stand on the chair, and you stand on the shoulders.
I mean, how tall is Prov? Just
I don't know that I
Don't
explicitly
know.
said. Let me see. I did not
I
explicitly.
imagine him as not actually being that tall.
He's a medium build human.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, because Rain is sort of like fairly average height for a woman.
So both of you standing on a chair would be able to get this.
yeah, with a chair, definitely. I was
So-
just querying if Prov was tall, it could have been done without a chair because obviously there's extra arm reach on top of my height. But yeah, fair enough. Chair it is then.
So, question. Who's going on whose shoulders? And how are you attempting to disable this camera?
I think Rain can go on Prov's shoulders because he's probably stronger.
Maybe. But the other side of it is Prov is probably better at disabling a camera.
Very good at taking apart
Yes.
electronics.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was considering just handing you out the felling axe and just letting you smash it.
That might be louder though.
Yeah, that would be noisy.
It's true.
I mean, out of character, Rain.
You know what? Why don't you think about this as we go on a break? The most
Damn it.
exciting cliffhanger you'll ever see on this
How will we
channel.
deal with
Who's
the
gonna
security
stand on
camera?
whose shoulders? We will find out.
The dangers of
Don't stand on chairs, kids.
standing on chairs.